Hi everyone, my name is William. Thank you for all your applause, thank you. Let me do a quick introduction. My name is William and I'm from here, Xiamen. I want to start with one simple question. If someone next to you understands something you don't, do you immediately feel like you've fallen short? Many of us do, because growing up, we were taught that learning is a competition. If someone knows more, I must know less. Whoever scores higher wins, whoever ranks higher wins, whoever gets into the better school wins. And little by little, we started to treat knowledge as a zero-sum game. And if someone rises, I must fall. But after studying economics, after leaving Xiamen for a larger world, and after spending time at Northwestern and Harvard, I started to realize that maybe everything could be different. Maybe it was wrong from the very beginning. Because a cake can be divided, knowledge cannot. If I hand you a slice of cake, I have one slice less. But if I teach you how to solve a math problem, I do not lose the problem. And if I share an idea with 10 people, my idea does not disappear. My idea might grow into 10 different versions inside 10 different people's minds. So today, I'm not going to talk about a story of success. Instead, I want to share with you guys a harder kind of growth. A harder kind of growth that we no longer treat knowledge as a personal weapon for advantage. Instead, we want to treat knowledge as something that we can move, connect, and create values for others. And this also reshaped how I think of winning, because I used to think winning meant surpassing everyone. And also this may sound abstract, but it actually decides what kind of persons we want to become. Do we want to be someone who is really good at winning? Or do we really want to be someone who helps the classroom, a team, a city, or even a society become a little smarter? I come from Xiamen. I know a lot of people think Xiamen as this perfect, gorgeous city for holiday vacation. It has the sea breeze, Gulangyu Island, a slower rhythm of life, and a softness that makes people completely relaxed. But for young people like me and you with ambition, we might feel like something else. Some people might wonder, are people like us really going to change the world? And are we have the audacity to reach the world? Well, because for a long time, the world feel like it's happening somewhere else. It happened in labs in Boston, it happened in meeting rooms in New York City, it happened at policy tables in London, and it also happened at startups in Silicon Valley. And you and me, we're just sitting in the classroom, doing all the practical questions and waiting for future permissions to kick in. I used to feel the way. After I went to Northwestern for my undergrad in education and communication and economics, and after I went to Harvard for educational leadership, and after I did my startup education and wrote the books and went to TV shows and did the TEDx curation, I feel like the lessons can be completely different. I think the world does not only reward the most standard person. Instead, I think the world also welcomes the people who know where they come from and where they are going forward to. And the hardest lesson is learning not to define yourself by winning against others. So today I'm going to share with you guys a very famous research from Harvard. It's called Harvard Study of Adult Development. It has been there for over 85 years, and it kept on asking people for one simple yet deep question. What makes a life healthy, happy, and meaningful? So one of the very clear answer is that they don't really care about how much money you are making. They don't care about fame. They don't care about personal achievement. Rather, what they emphasize is the quality of our relationships. You may wonder, why are we talking about relationships in a speech about knowledge? Because it reshaped how I understand excellence. We used to think excellence was being the most impressive student, be the most reliable person, we call 大腿 at school. He carries everyone, and one person moves faster, one person solves more problems, but it's completely different. And from Harvard Growth Lab, from Professor Ricardo Hausman, he has a very wonderful research. He basically studied why there are so many countries are thriving, which means some countries are getting better and better, while other countries are struggling. The simple answer is, it's called know-how. Not the information written in the textbook, but also practical knowledge held by people, city, and even communities. And I want to share with you guys another research from MIT Center for Collective Intelligence. It has concluded that the whole team's performance is not solely determined by the smartest person in the team. There are other factors to it. For example, social awareness, balanced participation, listening, and building on one another's ideas. You might think this is very counterintuitive because at school, we always look for the smartest person, and one of the biggest misunderstandings at school is that being strong means taking everything and taking on all the responsibilities on your shoulder. However, imagine a school environmental project. The very ordinary way is that you always find this very excellent student, and he or she does all the work. He did the visuals, she did the posters, and he or she did the hosting. In the end, you guys might got a perfect score, right? It's a happy ending, but the whole team didn't grow. So I would like to offer you guys a better way, which is try to delegate the task to different people. One person does the visual, one person collects the data, one person does the interview, and one person does the hosting. So in the end, everybody within the team can grow and become better together. And this is what we call turning private knowledge into public value. And for all the young people here, maybe we're taught, you guys are being sensitive, you guys are being distracted, you guys are being emotional, and you guys are being curious about so many different things. But maybe being weak, being sensitive is not a weakness. Maybe it's the way of you to connect to the world. And being frustrated about rebellion is not bad. Maybe it's the way for you to finally use your desire to change something. And maybe your curiosity is not lack of focus. Maybe it's the way for you to finally ask the world a genuine question. So I'm here to offer another possibility. Maybe you're not unprepared. Maybe you're just not ready in this new environment. And maybe you just haven't met the missions, the partners that fully light you up. And there's another term from Harvard that I really love. It's called serve and return. So basically, it's a back and forth exchange. A baby tries to make a sound and gesture, an adult responds. And baby tries again, an adult responds again. Through exchange, the language, social ability, and thinking develop. This sounds like a very easy process, and it's such an early learning research, but it after all applies for all kinds of learning because no one grows in a silent room. We always need the world to respond to us, and then we can grow. For example, if you are writing something, you always look forward to people writing some concrete feedbacks. And if you have an idea, you really look forward to people who can actually put into action. And I would like to share with you guys another term from Harvard Project Zero. It's very famous. It's called visible thinking. So we always encourage students to write down answers, but we also want them to be able to explain, what did I notice? Why do I think this way? Where did I get stuck? And what could I try next? So in a student language, it's simpler. We just want them to be able to share and tell us, this is why I think this. This is where I'm confused. This is a method I used, and this is what I might try next. So once your thinking becomes visible, other people can make a connection with it. Growth is turning yourself into a better node, a node that connects knowledge, people, problems, and action. And I no longer see coming from Xiamen as a limitation. Instead, I think it's a perfect new beginning, because the true internationalization does not mean turning yourself into a global template who doesn't have a root, who doesn't have a local memory or texture. The true internationalization means turning your observations and bring your cultural awareness to the world and trying your best to express in a way the world can understand and respond. So in the very, very end, I just want to reinstate my statement, which is knowledge is a public good, and knowledge is fire. If you lock it away, you may only win once. But if you pass it on, it can have traveled further than you could ever imagine. And for the young people here in Xiamen, I really want to encourage you guys, and also for the cities that don't feel like they're centered to the world, don't underestimate yourself. Don't underestimate your ability to share, express, collaborate, and connect. The world doesn't need the people who collect the most knowledge. The world needs people who know how to move the knowledge. The world doesn't need the people who shine alone. The world needs people who can light up others. And thank you guys. This is my speech.